Truthfully, I'm not that generous. I'm not a generous natured person, but I do enjoy following a contract, right? And so personally, I have a contract with God, and
I don't know if you guys know this, but Katt Williams became viral famous after going on Shannon Sharp's podcast about a year ago. He called out a bunch of people, especially the big one, Diddy, and he called them all out. And a week ago, he was on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, the basketball player, and he says he had a contract with God. It's better than the devil, better than Satan, same people, whatever. But this is absolutely fascinating, so let's get right into it.
I'm very generous, though. Like, you are very generous with your time and actually your money, which is very hard to do in this industry, right? Or these industries. Like, how are you so generous in this type of cutthroat industry?
How do you maintain that same sort of like alpha level of being the number one, but also have that generosity? You know, you speak about all the comedians you bring on tour.
Right.
A lot of very famous comedians will tell stories about how you've looked out for them and like have never looked for, acknowledgement or praise. Have done stuff in quiet to take care of folks. Like, there's that balance. How do you sort of maintain that, and why is that important to you?
Truthfully, I'm not that generous. I'm not a generous natured person, but I do enjoy following a contract, right? And so personally, I have a contract with God, and
He has a contract with God. That's amazing. Before he continues, that's what God does. Like, personally, you might not be the most loving person. Personally, you might not be the most kind and compassionate and forgiving person, but when God commands you to do things, when you are a follower of Christ, you have no option. I'm not for sure how much of a relationship he has with God or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know much about him, but like, that's huge. That's so true.
part of the contract that God has to follow requires certain things in my life. And the requirement for me is to make sure that it is worldwide and globally known that if you, as one of God's people, interacts with me, that God's blessings can flow from me to you. And so it's not philanthropy. It's a necessity. If you show me $100, I don't see 100. I only see 90. 10 of that gotta go. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, he's over here talking about ties. Let's go. That is amazing. God blesses you so that you can bless others. Like, that's the whole idea. Like, if you're just going to be selfish with it, and take it all for yourself, what's the point of God blessing you in the first place? Yes, it's fine to buy things and provide for your family, but when everything else is taken care of and you have left over, provide for other people. Share with them. And tithes, obviously, knowing where your money comes from, it grounds you. When you give 10% right away to God, that grounds you. First of all, it shows like that money is not yours in the first place. It's God's. So when you give 10%, it's not that big of a deal. When it's a lot of money, it is kind of a big deal. But like when you give it first to God, it's setting the precedent. This is God's money, not mine. And then when you don't have money, it's not a big deal because it's always been God's in the first place. And when you do have money, it's not a big deal because it's always been God's in the first place. And you're just like, what can I do now with the money that God has entrusted with me to help other people? That's amazing.
To his people, however that can happen quickest and in real life. And all I wanted was the ability to determine whether somebody is God's people or not. My job is to be as positive in interaction with any of God's people that I may come in contact with in whatever situation I'm in. That's part of my contract.
What one of those moments is one of the ones that you're the most proud of, you know?
I'm not proud of any of them.
It's just this is what I'm here to do.
If you go to McDonald's and something costs $2.75, are you proud that you gave them $3?
Hell no, I want my quarterback.
Right. So now, once you got the quarterback, right?
Yeah. Or 18 cents with tax, I don't know.
What you gonna do with that?
Right. So understand that where I rank spiritually, right? There aren't any more levels for me to attain other than the supreme level of happiness and contentment that I'm at. The only way that I can show the enemy that money does not affect me in any way is this generosity that you're talking about. The money can't move me, right? I move the money. You see, I can put the money here, and because I'm never in a loan situation, there's nothing for me to be proud of. These are God's people. This God's money. He makes sure I got it. Part of the reason he makes sure I got so much of it is because of what I do with it.
Wow.
This why the op hate me, because I'm a motivating factor and an asset to it. I come to bring. Yeah, that's what I bring. And so it's an easy thing to do. My point in the McDonald's thing was, you know how you pay tax?
Yeah.
And you don't feel proud that you paid the tax. You just pay the tax.
Yeah.
Right. And you're excited to pay the tax because it comes along with everything else, right? So you see what I mean? Like,
Sometimes
right.
we don't like to accept the tax.
If I'm only putting the tithe amount into the universe, I want that number to get as big as it can be.
Right.
I know exactly what it means if I give $1.5 million away. I know what that mean I made. You see?
Yeah. I mean, praise God for that. Like, what amazing mindset. And that's something that has been instilled in me to give 10% always. I mean, sometimes even extra, but like to give right away, as soon as I make any money, straight to the church, whether I make a lot of money or a little money. I think it's just so important to be faithful with that, because like I just want God to see. It's not about like, oh, I'm gonna do this because he's gonna give me $1 million, or I'm gonna make so much more money if I do this. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not even thinking about that. But I just want to be faithful with what I have. I want to be faithful in the little. And then there are scriptures that say, like, if you're faithful in the little, you will be faithful in much. Like, that's biblical. I'm sorry, but there's just some things are the outcomes of your practices. You know? You feel me, guys? Like, I'm young, but I know there are biblical principles that I can follow. Like, you don't have to be a veteran, an old, wise person to know this stuff. It's in the Bible. Follow the Bible and things will go well with you, especially in a Western society. You don't have to worry about getting persecuted and killed for following Jesus. We're not in the Middle East right now. I mean, well, some countries it's fine, but like we're not in Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iraq. Like we might get made fun of. We might lose a little deals, but who cares? God's going to bless us. It might not always be financial gain either though. Like that's okay. Yes, I'm going to trust in God and ask him to provide for me every day. Because I want to my mind to know, like, it's not because of me that I'm making money. It's not because of me that everything's getting provided for. It's because of God.
I'm not looking at it the same way, but you know.
You got a different insight.
You got to make enough money that money don't matter.
Well, I don't spend my money. I don't buy. So I got the type of disposable income that most people just don't have. Like I'm able to really do something good with it, and I'm determined that I do that as often as possible.
A lot of spending money on. That's crazy. That's something that's not talked about a lot. Spending money, bro.
Right.
Like, disposing all the income.
Right.
So that leads us to the next question, right?
So I thought that was fascinating. Super cool. And like literally right after this, he just said that he smokes weed and whatever, but there are biblical principles and you don't have to follow everything that Katt Williams says, obviously. Luke 16:10 says, if you are faithful in little things, you will be faithful in large ones. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. Let's be honest. Let's be faithful with the things that God has given us, like the talents. Let's multiply the things that God has given us. Like, I got to ask God for wisdom in this. And you should too. It's very important. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below, whatever that might be. All this is just so fascinating stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. Also, in the description below, you can click a link to help you to decide to follow Jesus for the first time. I encourage you to do that. Yeah, guys, that'll be the best thing you could ever do.